In this world, the weak beg, and the strong attract. Most people chase what they desire: approval, attention, love, power. And in doing so, they lose it. The moment you run after anything, you confess that it is above you. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. True power never chases. It draws everything toward itself. Your silence, your self-control, your absence, these are not weaknesses. They are invisible weapons. Today you'll learn the art of reversing pursuit, of making the world come to you. Begging is the language of the weak. The moment you lower yourself to ask for something, you hand over your power. In Machiavelli's world, strength is not about physical might, but about perception. People are ruled not by truth, but by what they believe to be true. When you plead, you announce to the world that someone else holds what you desire and you have no control over it. You make yourself dependent on another's mercy. That single gesture, that small act of asking, can shatter the illusion of strength that took years to build. Machiavelli believed that power rests in control, not only over others, but over one's own impulses. The need to plead comes from fear and insecurity, from the impatience to be validated. Those who cannot master their emotions will always end up serving those who can. A man who asks for help too often or who chases validation slowly teaches others that he can be manipulated through attention. People may smile at him, offer comfort, even pretend to care. But in their minds, they mark him as weak. And once people smell weakness, they will use it. You must understand that humans are drawn to authority the way moths are drawn to light. They crave to be led, to be guided, even dominated, but never by someone who kneels. They follow those who stand tall and speak with certainty. When you carry yourself as if you need nothing, others will want to give you everything. The less you demand, the more you attract. This is the paradox of power. Those who need least gain most. Begging kills attraction, not only in relationships but in every arena of life: business, politics, friendship, love. To never plead is not arrogance. It is discipline. It means you refuse to let your emotions dictate your actions. It means you would rather endure silence than lose dignity. The powerful do not rush to explain themselves or seek sympathy. They remain still, calm, and unreadable. Their silence makes others uneasy, and in that unease, control is born. The world fears what it cannot predict, and respects what it cannot fully understand. When you beg, you become predictable, a creature of desire, ruled by others' approval. When you stay composed, you become a mystery, and mystery always commands attention. Every negotiation, every interaction is a battle of posture. The one who appears more certain will dominate. Pleading shifts the balance of power instantly. You give the other person a higher position, turning them into a judge of your worth. Machiavelli would say, "It is better to let others come to you, even if it takes time, than to crawl toward what you want." Time spent waiting with composure is an investment. Time spent begging is a debt. Power does not move toward noise, it moves toward silence. Imagine two men seeking favor from a ruler. One rushes forward, speaking too much, flattering too eagerly. The other stands still, speaking only when addressed, showing no visible desire. The ruler, by instinct, grants more respect to the silent man. Why? Because he seems harder to win. What is difficult to obtain always appears more valuable. The one who begs seems replaceable. The one who withholds seems indispensable. This is the psychology of dominance, not taught by force, but by restraint. To master the art of not pleading, you must learn to be content with yourself. The desperate seek power to fill emptiness. The strong radiate power because they are already full. When you find peace in solitude, when you no longer crave validation, others will sense it. They will come closer, trying to earn your attention, trying to break your calm. That is when you know you have become powerful. When people compete for what you no longer chase. Machiavelli understood that life is a game of appearances. Those who beg may win temporary relief, but they lose long-term respect. The wise build their image like armor, emotionless on the surface, strategic beneath. To never plead is not to reject help or connection, but to engage from a position of strength. When you can walk away from anything, You control everything. A man who runs after others loses all gravity. The more you chase, the smaller you become in the eyes of the world. Chasing is an act of confession. You reveal that someone or something has power over you. In Machiavelli's mind, power must always flow toward you, never away from you. To chase is to declare your dependence, and dependence is the first crack in the armor of authority. When you pursue too eagerly, you tell others that their value exceeds yours, and in doing so, you give them the right to dictate the terms of the relationship. The wise never do that. They stand still and make others move. Humans are creatures of curiosity. They want what seems distant, rare, and self-assured. When you chase, you destroy the illusion of rarity. You make yourself ordinary. The world begins to assume that if you are so available, you cannot be valuable. The less accessible you are, the more people project worth onto you. This is why Machiavelli advised rulers and leaders to maintain a sense of restraint, to hold something back even when they could give everything. People are drawn not to what is easily possessed, but to what remains slightly out of reach. In love, in business, and in influence, the same law applies. When you chase someone's attention, they begin to measure their worth against your effort. They start believing they are above you, and once that belief settles in, they lose respect. Respect is the foundation of power. Without it, even love turns into pity. It is far better to make others compete for your time and attention than to compete for theirs. The man who can walk away from the crowd will always make the crowd follow him. The one who refuses to beg for loyalty gains it naturally. Machiavelli would say that the powerful do not move in haste. They act as if the world already belongs to them. Their calm confidence forces others to question their own position. When you chase, you show emotional need. When you remain still, you project self-sufficiency. Stillness has gravity. It pulls things in. The moment you stop trying to impress, you start to impress. The moment you stop proving your worth, others start recognizing it. Desire works like a shadow. The more you run after it, the farther it gets. When you stop moving, it returns to you. The secret lies in psychological inversion. You must reverse the natural instinct to pursue what you want. Instead of moving toward your target, create a force that makes your target move toward you. This force is built from self-respect, mystery, and discipline. When you show no urgency, others feel an internal pressure to fill the silence. They will chase your approval, your time, your energy, simply because you refuse to chase theirs. This is not manipulation. It is mastery of human nature. People crave what gives them meaning, and nothing gives them more meaning than winning the attention of someone who doesn't need them. Chasing also blinds your judgment. When desire controls your actions, you stop seeing clearly. You miss red flags, overlook betrayal, and waste time on things unworthy of your focus. Machiavelli believed that emotion is the enemy of power. The more you want something, the more control it has over you. The one who remains calm, even when denied, keeps his clarity. He can wait, calculate, and act only when the conditions are perfect. Patience is a silent weapon that exhausts your opponent without a single move. To stop chasing is not to stop desiring. It is to redirect desire inward, to build yourself until the world has no choice but to notice. The man who chases validation is a servant to others' opinions. The man who attracts it through mastery becomes a ruler of perception. You must become the prize, not the pursuer. To do that, you must first believe that what you seek is already yours in potential. When you carry yourself with that quiet certainty, people will sense it, and they will begin to orbit around you. The world always bends toward confidence. It always kneels before calm power. Disappearing at the right moment makes people value your presence. Power is not only built through action, but also through the ability to withdraw with precision. Machiavelli understood that constant presence dulls impact. The more people see you, the more they grow accustomed to you. Familiarity breeds indifference. To maintain authority, mystery must surround you, and mystery cannot exist without controlled absence. A leader, a lover, or an influencer who is always available loses the aura that made them significant. To disappear strategically is to remind the world of your worth by showing them what life feels like without you. Absence forces others to confront dependence. When you step back, they begin to realize how much of their strength, comfort, or motivation came from your presence. The silence you leave behind grows louder than your words. It stirs questions, creates tension, and reawakens desire. Humans are wired to chase what retreats. The moment something or someone is gone, imagination fills the void. They start to overvalue what they can no longer reach. Machiavelli would say this is one of the most subtle forms of control, to make others miss you, think of you, and seek you, without demanding it. Those who fear losing relevance cling too tightly, and by doing so, suffocate the very admiration they crave. Constant presence is a confession of insecurity. It reveals that you are unsure of your worth and fear being forgotten. The powerful, on the other hand, understand that withdrawal is not weakness but a statement of confidence. It says, "I do not need to remind you who I am. You will remember on your own." This kind of confidence builds authority that words never could. Silence, when used wisely, becomes the loudest voice in the room. Machiavelli believed that timing is the essence of strategy. Disappear too soon, and you seem unreliable. Stay too long, and you become predictable. The art lies in sensing when your influence has reached its peak, when your presence has been felt but not yet taken for granted, and then pulling away. The absence leaves a gap that only you can fill. That gap becomes your leverage. Others begin to crave your return, to seek your counsel, to pursue your attention. You no longer need to chase respect or affection. Your absence commands it. In personal relationships, the same rule applies. The more time you give someone, the less they value it. People only appreciate what they fear losing. A short silence, a sudden distance, or a period of emotional stillness reawakens curiosity. It resets the balance of power. When you disappear, you take control of the narrative because others are left to imagine your thoughts and motives. Imagination magnifies everything. The mind fills the unknown with desire, fear, or admiration. That is how absence becomes more powerful than presence. In leadership and influence, controlled disappearance prevents fatigue. Even the most brilliant presence, when constant, becomes ordinary. Great leaders appear rarely but decisively. Each appearance feels significant because it does not happen often. They create an aura of anticipation, and anticipation is the foundation of loyalty. When people wait for you, they are subconsciously admitting your importance. Machiavelli would say, "If you wish to be remembered, do not always be seen. Let people wonder where you are, what you're thinking, what move you're planning. Their curiosity becomes your shadow army." Disappearing also grants perspective. When you are always engaged, you become trapped in reaction. Withdrawal allows reflection, strategy, and recalibration. You see who truly values you, who reaches out, and who was only attached to your presence out of convenience. Absence exposes truth. It separates loyalty from habit. Those who remain connected even when you are silent are your true allies. Those who vanish were never yours. In a world obsessed with constant noise and exposure, silence is rebellion. To retreat is to remind others that you are not desperate for attention. It is to claim control over your visibility. You become the rare element in a world of overexposure. People begin to wait for your return, to hang on to your next word, to seek your validation. And when you finally reappear, you are no longer just noticed, you are felt. That is the power of controlled absence. It doesn't weaken your influence. It multiplies it. Need is weakness. Indifference is dominance. The one who cares less always controls the game. Machiavelli understood that in every interaction, whether political, personal, or social, the person who appears emotionally detached holds the advantage. When you reveal need, you surrender leverage. You show that your happiness or stability depends on someone else's action. And once that dependency is visible, others instinctively use it against you. People may not admit it, but they sense emotional imbalance like blood in water. The moment you show that something can shake you, you hand over control of your mind. Indifference, on the other hand, is a silent weapon. It confuses, intimidates, and fascinates. He warned that rulers who react impulsively to praise or insult are slaves to the crowd's opinion. The true ruler appears untouched, even when burning inside. The appearance of composure is enough to command obedience. In personal relationships, emotional need is the quickest way to lose respect. The more affection or attention you beg for, the less you receive. They start to question why you're unaffected, why you don't seek them, and why your silence feels louder than their words. That curiosity becomes attraction, and that attraction becomes influence. Machiavelli knew that emotions reveal power structures. The one who apologizes first, explains too much, or tries too hard to fix things, always holds the weaker position. Emotional control is not about suppressing feeling, but about weaponizing it. You can feel everything deeply and still show nothing. That restraint forces others to guess what you think. The more they guess, the more they focus on you. In that guessing, they lose their composure while you maintain yours. Power shifts quietly from the expressive to the unreadable. In politics, this principle shapes entire nations. A ruler who reacts to every threat shows vulnerability. Enemies exploit it. A ruler who remains unreadable creates uncertainty, and uncertainty breeds caution. People fear what they cannot measure. The same psychology applies in daily life. When you stop over-explaining, stop defending yourself, stop chasing clarity, you create an aura of authority. You appear self-contained, as if the world's noise cannot touch you. Others start to seek your approval, not because you ask for it, but because you withhold it. Indifference turns attention into pursuit. To master indifference, you must learn detachment from outcome. Care about the process, not the result. Do what needs to be done and release expectation. When nothing external can shake your calm, you become untouchable. Machiavelli would say that a man who cannot be provoked controls both his enemies and his allies. The one who reacts emotionally can be predicted. The one who remains calm becomes a mystery, and mystery is always superior to certainty. The modern world encourages expression, but power still belongs to those who can stay composed while everyone else overreacts. Indifference is not apathy, it's control over visibility. It means you choose when to reveal emotion and when to hold silence. Every time you resist the urge to respond, to explain, to chase reassurance, you grow stronger. You build an inner fortress that no flattery or insult can break. People will test your calm, trying to provoke you to measure your limits. When they fail, their respect deepens. When they realize they cannot shake you, they submit quietly. Machiavelli's wisdom was simple. Care deeply about your purpose, but remain indifferent to approval. Emotion should be your servant, never your master. The one who controls his reactions commands the world. Power grows in stillness. Those who rush reveal their desperation. Those who wait expose their strength. Machiavelli understood that motion without control is weakness disguised as effort. The world is full of people who act from impulse, who cannot sit in silence, who mistake movement for progress. They chase opportunities, argue constantly, and react to every slight, thinking this restlessness proves their ambition. In truth, it only exposes their lack of discipline. Power belongs to those who can stand still in chaos, observe without emotion, and strike only when the timing is perfect. Stillness is not laziness. It is focus refined to its purest form. When you are still, you can see what others miss. You notice patterns in behavior, motives behind words, and weaknesses hidden beneath confidence. Most people speak to fill silence, but the wise listen to fill knowledge. Machiavelli valued patience as a weapon because it allows you to act with precision. The impatient man burns his energy too soon, revealing his intentions. The patient man lets others reveal theirs first, then decides how to use that information. In politics, in business, and in relationships, this is how power shifts quietly from the noisy to the silent. Stillness is intimidating because it cannot be read. People expect reaction. When they do not receive it, they become uncertain. Uncertainty breeds anxiety, and anxiety breeds mistakes. The more still you are, the more others try to guess your thoughts, and the more power you gain over their minds. Machiavelli saw this clearly. Control is psychological before it is physical. To control a person, you must first control their perception of you. When you are calm, they assume you know something they don't. When you act slowly, they imagine depth where there may be none. That illusion alone is enough to command respect. In every competition, the one who can wait longer wins. The market, the battlefield, the conversation, all reward patience. When you do not react immediately, you conserve energy, collect data, and allow others to reveal their vulnerabilities. Then, when you move, your strike lands with precision. This is why Machiavelli advised rulers to act neither too soon nor too late. Timing turns an ordinary decision into a decisive one. The difference between success and failure often lies not in intelligence but in restraint. Most people lose because they cannot bear to wait. Stillness also protects you from manipulation. Those who act too quickly are easily provoked. Enemies learn your triggers, and once they can make you react, they own your power. When you are calm, no one can predict your next move. They lose control of the rhythm, and in that confusion they expose themselves. Silence becomes a mirror that reflects their true nature while hiding yours. This is why the most dangerous people in any room are the quiet ones. They give nothing, they demand nothing, yet everything bends around them. In a world obsessed with speed and noise, stillness is rebellion. Everyone wants to be seen, heard, and recognized, but the wise know that mystery draws more attention than noise ever could. When you are silent, people project their imagination onto you. They invent meanings, strengths, and fears that may not exist. This illusion multiplies your presence without you lifting a finger. The ruler who speaks rarely is remembered more than the one who shouts daily. Machiavelli knew that scarcity of words and action makes each gesture heavier, more significant, more commanding. Power does not always come from movement. Sometimes it is the result of still observation. The storm appears strongest when it is silent before it strikes. The same is true for the human mind. Those who can endure silence, who can watch without showing impatience, who can hold emotion without release, those people are impossible to defeat. Stillness allows clarity, and clarity creates strategy. The man who can remain still while others panic already holds victory, because he is the only one thinking clearly. Machiavelli's wisdom remains true. Power is not in constant action, but in mastering the moment between thought and movement. The calm mind sees everything. The restless one misses its chance. Powerful people don't pursue, they attract. Their strength doesn't come from chasing attention, but from radiating something others can't ignore. Machiavelli understood that the greatest form of power lies in perception. It's not what you do openly, but what others believe about you that determines your influence. Attraction is not a trick. It is a force that emerges when you master yourself. When you stop trying to prove your worth and begin to embody it, people sense it without words. They move toward you, not because you ask them to, but because your presence makes them feel smaller, curious, and drawn in. Desperation is the death of attraction. The more you try to convince others of your value, the more they question it. The powerful never explain. They demonstrate through silence, composure, and certainty. They understand that mystery is magnetic. When people cannot fully understand you, they create stories about you, and those stories often elevate you beyond what you truly are. Machiavelli saw this clearly in rulers and leaders. The illusion of greatness is more powerful than the reality of effort. When others imagine you to be capable of anything, you already control their behavior without force. Attraction begins with presence. Presence is not about appearance, but about energy. How you occupy space, how you move, how you speak. The one who speaks less but with clarity commands more attention than the one who floods the air with words. The one who moves deliberately draws the eye more than the one who flails in constant motion. People follow confidence, not noise. Confidence doesn't shout, it radiates. When you are comfortable with silence, when you do not rush to fill it, others feel compelled to break it. In doing so, they unconsciously hand you control of the moment. Machiavelli would say that to attract, you must first appear complete. Neediness is visible, even when disguised. It seeps through tone, posture, and expression. People instinctively move away from those who seek too much because they fear being drained. But they are drawn to those who seem fulfilled, self-contained, and indifferent to outcome. This indifference is the secret power of attraction. It creates a psychological imbalance. Others feel that your approval would validate them, that winning your attention would mean something. You must cultivate this by being selective with your energy, by not offering it freely. Every time you hold back, your value rises. This law operates in every domain: politics, leadership, love, and influence. In politics, a ruler who seems unbothered by opposition appears invincible. In business, a person who does not chase deals creates the illusion that their product or time is rare. In relationships, the one who appears emotionally independent becomes irresistible because they represent strength. People are drawn to what they cannot easily possess. Machiavelli observed that scarcity and mystery amplify worth more than any amount of effort or persuasion. Attraction through aura also requires self-mastery. You cannot command others if you are not in control of yourself. Emotional chaos leaks through every gesture. Calmness, on the other hand, is magnetic. It signals that you are not reactive, that nothing external has the power to disturb your inner balance. The world interprets this as superiority. People chase calm energy because it promises safety and certainty in a chaotic world. You become a mirror for what they lack. They follow you not because you demand it, but because you embody what they desire to be. Machiavelli knew that reputation is a form of weapon. The powerful carefully construct an image that others cannot ignore. Every appearance, every word, every silence serves a purpose. But once that image is built, they let it work for them. They do not chase admiration. They let admiration do the work. This is how power compounds. When your aura speaks louder than your voice, your influence expands without effort. To attract by aura, you must detach from the need to be seen. Focus on refinement, not recognition. Build strength quietly, master your craft, and cultivate mystery. Let others wonder what drives you, how much you know, or what you're planning next. In that wondering, they invest emotional energy in you. You pull them into your orbit without lifting a finger. That is the essence of Machiavellian attraction, not through effort but through energy, not through words but through presence. The world is drawn to still flames, not to wildfires. Radiate power silently, and everything you desire will move toward you. Power was never meant to be begged for. It was meant to be earned through silence, patience, and control. The world bows not to the loud, but to the composed. When you stop pleading, you stop giving others permission to define your worth. When you stop chasing, you reverse the flow of energy. And the things you once ran after begin to move toward you. Machiavelli's wisdom remains timeless. The less you need, the more powerful you become. Let others rush, argue, and seek attention. You stay still, observe, and attract. Power is not in motion. It's in mastery of yourself. Become the one who commands through calmness, and the world will follow your silence.